Last video is for styling the sidebar labels with the multicolor boxes and the Font Awesome icons. You're going to want to start in your dashboard with theme, and we're going to have to make one change to your HTML code before you get started. It's super easy, but these icons are pulling from Font Awesome. Now, if you have a Georgia Lou Studios site that's already on there, but you probably have an older version. This is version 4.70 is at this time the latest one. And you can see the updates they've made along the way and the icons they've added. If you pick this address book and your site has 4.4 on it, the address book isn't going to show up. It's really easy to change, and it's worth it because while there are a ton of icons, not a lot of them relate to educational ideas. So some of my icons that I pulled were a stretch anyway. So it's definitely worth it to update it. It's super easy. We're going to start out in theme, edit HTML, and I'm going to press Command F. I want to look for my line with my font awesome. So I'm going to put in awesome because that's a pretty unique word. It's not going to be in your code a lot. And here it is, real close to the top. I'm going to change 4.3 to 4.7 and save. Now I'm ready to paste that code in. I'm going to go back to theme, customize, advanced, add CSS. She already has some code. I'm going to make some space before I grab it. I'm going to go over to the Georgia Lou Studios tutorial. This final tutorial combines the multicolor boxes with the icon boxes. So that's down here as a bonus style. So I'm going to copy all this code. There's a lot of it. And there is a lot of code. You're customizing every piece of it, which means you're going to have to tell every piece of it what to do. So I'm going to go over here, paste it in, scroll all the way up to the top, and get started working. All right, here we go. The bonus style. Well, let's look what we have right now. It doesn't look great because some of these label titles are too long to fit on one line of text. I had the same problem on mine. I had professional books. Since it was just one, I decided to change the post with that label as a way to get around it, but that's not going to work for this site because there are multiple and there isn't something that you could change all of them to that's shorter that would make sense. So we're going to have a workaround at the end. We're just going to pretend like that's not there right now. If you're lucky and all your titles fit on one line or all your titles are two lines, then you won't have to do that. But there's a workaround for it, so we'll get to that at the end. Right now, we want to start customizing what we do have. So this is styling. And now we're going to get to the icons. It starts with the icons first. Now this is a 6 icon pattern. So do you see how after the 6th one it starts over again? That's okay. We have 8 and we're just going to add on a 7th and an 8th. I'll copy these two, paste them in. I'm going to name them. There are a lot of working parts here, so you want to be sure to name everything correctly. 8th icon. So this is going to be the 7th icon and the 8th icon. Now we're going to go back and change this to a pattern of 8. I just want to be consistent. There's so many pieces to this one that you want to make sure everything is named and doing the work that it's actually supposed to be doing. Now I'm going to tell the name of the icon. So the content is your icon. So right now this is a paintbrush and this is the code for a paintbrush. You get that from the Font Awesome cheat sheet. For Math Workshop, I'm going to use calculator. So I need this F1EC as the code. I went through before I got started and listed the icon or the labels and then chose the icons that I wanted to go with each one and wrote down what the code was. So I have everything written down. It's easier than bouncing back and forth and changing your mind and deciding you want to use a code for something else. So I've got it written down and I can change it to a calculator. So the second icon, got this little piece of paper with a pencil on it. I'm just going to keep going and putting in the names of each icon. And this is how Font Awesome names their icons. Whoops. Now I've put this in correctly so you see that box has shown up because that's not the name of a real icon. If Font Awesome doesn't recognize an icon, that's what you're going to see. Now this leaf for poetry is from 4.7. If I had not changed that in my template, then I would have just gotten that box for the leaf because it had an older version before and it wouldn't have recognized it. Okay, we're almost done. And did I get off? Nope. Got a little globe for social studies and a pencil for writing. All right, now we're on colors. Again, just like with the icons, this was made for a 6 pattern label side for the sidebar. So we're going to tell it that you're actually going to be an 8 pattern, which is making everything crazy right now, but that's okay because we don't have anything in there to tell it what 7 and 8 are going to do. So we're going to copy these two because we have 6, but we need 2 more, so I'm pasting them in. I'm going to name them. I'm going to tell this to be 7 and this to be 8. Now we're good again, except I have to tell each one what color to be. I used 6 different colors on mine. She doesn't have that many colors, and I want to save 1 color for the hover, so I'm going to use 4 colors and repeat them. So let me start grabbing colors. This is where it's really important to have things labeled correctly because you're looking at a lot of code. Okay, I have the first 4 done. If I do navy, that kind of seafoam color, green, and pink again, it's going to be a little patterny looking, so I'm actually going to flip it so that the navy and green are on this side and these 2 colors are over here. So I'm going to name it from the 5th, then 6th, and the pink, and the green. All right, but I'm not done because now I have to tell each label what color it needs to be when I hover over it. I actually want it to be the same thing the whole way through, but I still have to go through all this work. So I'm going to change it to 8, 8, 8. Okay, so I have 6, but I really have 8 labels, so I need 2 more. I'm going to name them correctly. And I have to tell this is the 7th one, and this is the 8th one. And now I'm going to put this hot pink color in for each of them. I think I did that one. All right, and that's the end of your code. And if your text is sized evenly and making your boxes all the same shape, then you're good to go. You can press apply to blog and have a lovely life. However, if you don't have that, then you will need to scroll back up to the beginning of the code and look for this line. It's really right towards the beginning of it that says width. So the reason these border boxes are showing up 2 by 2 is because of this line of code. It's saying, okay, the border boxes are going to be 50% of the width. However, if you just left it at 50%, they would run into each other exactly. So this minus 5 pixels has been added in. That's how you get the sizing. That sizing is not working for us because of the length of some of the text. So I'm actually going to change this line to 100%. So now they fit. If your labels are longer than this, then you probably need to revisit your naming strategy. So now they fit. They kind of take up a lot of room. There's some pretty significant space between them. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit farther to where it says white space between links. I can adjust this number so that there's less space. I can take it down to 2. I can take it down to a negative number and get even less space. I think that's better. So I'm going to hit apply to blog. And then I'm going to show you, I did have one problem when I went to look at them. So here's what the old ones looked like. And I hit refresh. Let's see if it does it. Nope, it doesn't do it. The first time I did it, the poetry wasn't showing up. I had to close the window out and reopen it. It just wasn't pulling the new Font Awesome update. So if you do get the box, instead of your more recent ones, just close out your window and reopen it. So you can see I've got all my links here. When I hover over them, they change to hot pink. And I'm all set. I would not do more than 8. This is a lot of space. You really want to take care of your sidebar real estate. Your readers aren't going to scroll forever. So make sure that what you have over there is valuable and that they can get to those valuable things before they zone out.